All right, get ready, because today we're diving into a topic that might sound a little out there at first. Dental probiotics.
It's funny you should say out there because it really is a whole world of its own.
And a world we want to explore. We're talking about those tiny helpers that could revolutionize your oral health routine. We're talking fresher breath,
Yeah.
healthier gums, even connections to your overall well-being.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's about so much more than just a sparkling smile. What happens in your mouth can actually impact your entire body.
I love that. It's all connected, right? But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's back up for a second. When we say dental probiotics, what are we actually talking about?
In essence, we're talking about introducing beneficial bacteria into your mouth. These friendly bacteria work to balance out the incredibly complex ecosystem living in there. We call it the oral microbiome.
Oral microbiome. It does have a certain ring to it.
It's almost like something out of science fiction, isn't it?
It does make you think of those amazing microscopic images of bacteria.
Exactly. And there are billions of them all interacting in your mouth right now.
So it's like a whole world, a whole ecosystem we need to keep balanced.
Precisely. Probiotics help ensure the good guys outweigh the bad guys, so to speak.
So are probiotics like the peacekeepers of our mouths?
I like that analogy. They help keep things in check and running smoothly.
But it's not as simple as just like eating a yogurt and calling it a day, right?
That's right. You bring up a good point. There are actually specific strains of bacteria, just like there are different types of yogurt.
Each with their own unique set of skills, like a microscopic A-team.
Exactly. And each of these strains has its own specialty. Take Streptococcus salivarius K12, for instance.
Okay, now that's a mouthful. What makes this strain so special?
Well, for starters, it produces this substance called BLIS. Think of it like a bodyguard for your mouth.
A bodyguard. Tell me more.
Basically, it fends off those troublemaking bacteria that can cause all sorts of problems.
No way. So we've got these tiny little bodyguards patrolling our mouths, keeping the peace. That's incredible. Who else is on the team?
Well, we've also got Streptococcus salivarius M18, another powerhouse when it comes to fighting bad breath.
So those are our anti-stink superstars.
Exactly. And then there's the Lactobacillus family, the strains like Readery and Brevis.
Okay, now those names ring a bell. I've definitely seen them on yogurt containers.
You're right. They're found in lots of fermented foods.
But what are they doing in our mouths? I thought those were more for gut health.
They play a role there too, but in the mouth, they're particularly good at tackling inflammation. And that's key for healthy gums.
Right. We'll definitely dive deeper into that a bit later. But these lactobacillus strains sound like they mean business.
They're definitely strains you want on your side.
So we've got this incredible team of good bacteria working hard in our mouths. But let's be real for a second. With all the health trends out there, it's easy to get skeptical. Do dental probiotics actually live up to the hype?
You're not wrong to wonder. There are a lot of products out there making big promises. And it's true, dental probiotics aren't some magic solution.
Right. They're not a free pass to ditch the toothbrush.
Exactly. Brushing and flossing are still non-negotiable for a healthy mouth.
Okay, good to know. But I'm still curious about the potential benefits. Like, I was blown away by the research on bad breath. Apparently, a whopping 90% of cases are caused by bacteria.
It's true. And when you think about what those bacteria are doing in there, it makes sense. They're releasing these volatile sulfur compounds. In other words, they're the stink bombs of your mouth.
Okay, that's pretty wild. So how do probiotics combat that? Do they just mask the smell or something else going on?
It's not about masking, it's about crowding out those stink bombs. They're basically muscling out the bad bacteria. There is this study at the University of Connecticut.
Oh, I read about that.
Participants used lozenges with Streptococcus salivarius K12, and after just 1 week, 85% saw a huge improvement in their breath.
85%. Those are some serious results. See, this is why I'm so intrigued by dental probiotics. It's like they're offering a whole new way to approach oral health.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just fresh breath. Remember those lactobacillus strains we talked about? The ones that tackle inflammation?
Yeah, the gum disease warriors.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting. Because gum disease isn't just about your gums. It can actually impact your entire body.
Wait, really?
Oh, yeah. The inflammation from gum disease is linked to some serious health issues.
Like what?
We're talking increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, even rheumatoid arthritis.
Whoa, I had no idea it was that connected. I knew gum disease was bad, but not that serious.
It's often overlooked, but the connection is very real. And that's why those lactobacillus strains, especially Readery and Brevis, are so important. They're like tiny little firefighters, calming down that inflammation and helping your gums heal.
So it's not just about a pretty smile. It's about protecting ourselves from some major health problems.
Yeah.
This is all blowing my mind. And speaking of mind-blowing, didn't the research also mention a possible link between the oral microbiome and oral cancer?
It did. That's an area where there's some really exciting research happening. It's still early days, but some studies suggest certain probiotics, like Lactobacillus plantarum, might even be able to inhibit the growth of cancer cells.
Wow, that's incredible. So we're talking about potentially using these good bacteria to fight serious diseases.
That's the hope. And it really highlights just how interconnected our mouths are to the rest of our bodies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like we're uncovering this whole hidden world that has a huge impact on our overall health.
Okay.
Okay, so someone's listening to this, and they're thinking, all right, I'm convinced. Sign me up. How do I actually start using dental probiotics? What are their options?
Well, the good news is there are more and more options available all the time.
That's great.
You've got your chewable tablets, your lozenges, even powders you can mix into water.
So many choices. It's awesome that there are so many different ways to incorporate these beneficial bacteria.
And don't forget about the delicious options nature already provides.
Oh, right. We can't forget about food. You were saying earlier about fermented foods.
Exactly. Things like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, they're all packed with naturally occurring probiotics. And they can be a fantastic way to support your oral microbiome.
It's like they say, let food be thy medicine. But as much as I love a good kimchi pancake, sometimes I crave that extra support. You know, those targeted probiotic supplements we were talking about earlier.
Of course. And the great thing is you can definitely combine both approaches, enjoy those fermented foods as part of a balanced diet, and if you feel like you need an extra boost, there's some great supplement options out there.
Right. It's all about finding what works best for you.
Absolutely. And speaking of finding what works best, we're actually entering a really exciting frontier in oral health care.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I love when you say that. What's on the horizon?
Well, have you heard of personalized probiotics?
Personalized probiotics. That sounds incredibly futuristic.
It is. Imagine getting your oral microbiome analyzed, just like people are doing with their gut microbiome these days.
So we're talking about figuring out the exact makeup of bacteria in my mouth.
Precisely.
And then what? What do we do with that information?
That's where it gets really cool. With that information, we can create custom probiotic regimens.
So it's like personalized medicine, but for our mouths.
Exactly. Tailored to your specific needs and goals.
That's incredible. So say if I'm prone to gum disease, they could create a specific probiotic blend to target that.
Precisely. Or if bad breath is a concern, or even those systemic health issues we talked about, personalized probiotics could be a game changer.
Wow, that's next level stuff. It's amazing to think that we might be able to take such precise control of our oral health in the future.
It's an exciting time to be in this field, that's for sure. There's so much potential for improving people's lives through these tiny but mighty helpers.
I'm totally with you on that. This entire deep dive has been eye-opening. And for all of you listening, remember, knowledge is power. You've learned so much about the fascinating world of dental probiotics and their incredible potential. So go out there, arm yourself with information, talk to your dentist, and as always, keep on smiling.